Please subscribe to our channel, Pacific Front Untold, and be sure to leave a comment after watching a video.
POW camps were scattered over Japan and its colonies during the war. The incredible Mapping POW Camps in Japan during World War II by War Crimes Documentation Initiative illuminates the extent of these camps. This digital resource compiles research layers to accurately pinpoint camp locations. Whilst the mapping remains incomplete due to limited access to Japanese wartime records, efforts now focus on understanding the camp's function and the daily lives of their prisoners. Personal testimonies after liberation and investigations made during the war shed light on the lives of the POWs and their captors. Theoretically, POW treatment was standardized under the 1929 Geneva Convention, which obligated signatories to, so far as possible, mitigate the unavoidable rigors of captivity and improve the fate of prisoners of war. Key articles define these protections. For example, Article 13 mandates that belligerents shall take all sanitary measures necessary to assure the cleanliness and healthfulness of camps and to prevent epidemics. Article 32 states, "It is forbidden to use prisoners of war at unhealthful or dangerous work." Article 46 prohibits any corporal punishment, any imprisonment in quarters without daylight, and in general any form of cruelty, as well as collective punishment for individual acts. These articles are part of a broader framework to safeguard POWs. However, compliance was inconsistent. Article 92 stipulates that the convention takes effect 6 months after at least 2 ratifications, and subsequently for each ratifying party. By World War II, the convention was in force, but Japan, while a signatory, did not ratify it, claiming instead to observe its provisions voluntarily. This is evidenced in governmental communications, Tokyo, February 12, 1942, printed in the Manila Tribune, February 14, 1942. Haruhiko Nishi, Vice Foreign Minister, revealed before the session of the lower house that Japan and the United States agreed mutually through a third nation to treat their respective nationals in concentration camps in accordance with international treaties governing war prisoners. Geneva, February 14, 1942, printed in the Manila Tribune, February 17, 1942. The Japanese government informed the International Red Cross that Japan will abide by the provisions of the Geneva Convention regarding the treatment of war prisoners, although Japan is not bound by the convention. The Japanese government said it will treat prisoners of war on a reciprocal basis. Despite these pledges, the convention was frequently disregarded. The convention defined POWs as lawful combatants entitled to humane treatment, medical care, protection from torture, and exemption from work supporting the enemy's war effort, as well as the right to communicate. However, Japan's non-ratification and its occasional reclassification of POWs as captives allowed it to sidestep these obligations. The treatment of POWs is vividly illustrated at Narumi, a sub-camp established on December 28, 1943. Walter Norman Riley's account describes the camp. The camp was built on the side of a steep hill and was constructed solely of wood. It was not well constructed, the place was very flimsy and quite inadequate for keeping out the cold. The sides of the buildings were of a 3-ply type of wood, and the roofs were some wooden composite material. The floors were of earth. The prisoners were not supplied with beds, but were given straw mats approximately 6 feet by 3 feet, one mat for each prisoner. For the pillow, we had a canvas container filled with rice hulls. For the first winter the men were there, each prisoner was supplied with 5 blankets, but in the second winter it was cut down to 3. There was not so much snow at this place, it was near the coast, but we had heavy frosts in winter and it was then very cold. The first POWs, 400 British and Canadian prisoners from Hong Kong, arrived on January 7, 1944, via the Toyama Maru. They were forced to work for Daido Electric Steel Company and Nippon Wheel Manufacturing in violation of the Geneva Convention's prohibition on dangerous or war-related labor. Official Japanese and Allied reports often painted a rosier picture. The British National Archives document W0325/43, Rules and Regulations of Osaka Prisoners of War Camp, cites the camp commander and suggests moderate conditions with access to books, food, and exercise, and notes only medical negligence due to poor diet. A report of an inspection of a POW camp at Nagoya, May 6, 1944, states, "According to the commandant, international law is respected. Humanitarian principles are applied to maintain the good physical and spiritual standards of the POWs who will be sent home after the war. There are no collective punishments. The commandant assured us that POWs are not forced to do prohibited work, which is neither unhealthy nor related to war industries. The camp leaders said the work was not hard and the men were glad to work." However, POW testimonies reveal a starkly different reality. The British National Archives in the matter of war crimes committed by Japanese nationals and the ill treatment of POWs documents severe abuses. Excerpts include Thomas Buchanan Lowe. "I saw Sully, a Hong Kong volunteer, being savagely beaten by several people, including Lieutenant Tanka and Kamora. Sully was accused of having stolen a Japanese workman's lunchbox. The beating which I witnessed was on the parade ground in the camp. He was beaten with fists, knocked down and kicked whilst on the ground." Robert Kirkwood. "An air raid alarm was sounded, and we went through the drill as afore described. At this time I was so very weak that I could not make more than a shambling trot for not more than 40 or 50 yards, after which my muscles would not function, and I was useless. 2 of the stick men, I was too dazed to know who they were, hit me around my legs and feet with their sticks and pushed me so that I fell. Dempsey struck me several severe blows on my jaw and knocked me down onto the ground, gave me a terrific crack on my jaw." Daniel McConaughey. "I was beaten up for stealing food. I was made to strip, and the beating I got was so severe that my bowels gave way." Hector Lawrence, Mackenzie. "Struck me 18 times on the face and head with a leather belt. I was then made to stand to attention holding a large pail of water above my head for some considerable time. As a result of this assault, my face swelled painfully to about 3 times its normal size." Albert Alger Pelletier. "He beat me with his fists. He tried to knock me down but couldn't. This made him very mad. He took a bolt and hit me several times over the head with it. I fell down and he began to kick me in the ribs, stomach, chest, and back. I struggled to my feet. He then took his scabbard from his belt and hit me over the head with it, knocking me out." William Henry Everest Coates. "The beating was savage, brutal, and absolutely undeserved." Frederick Arthur Broadbridge. I was taken to the sentry's office, stood at attention for about 1.5 hours, during the whole of which time I was struck about the face. I was struck on the right and left sides alternatively, took the plank and continued beating me with it, kept beating me in relays over a period of about 1.5 hours. These testimonies expose systemic violations of the Geneva Convention, including torture, inhumane treatment, and forced labor. Such accounts facilitated post-war prosecutions and highlighted the moral and legal failures of the Japanese camp system. Narumi was just one of many camps, as the mapping project shows, and countless stories remain untold, underscoring the need for continued research to complete this historical picture.